We will be putting an absolute cap on emissions from the oil and gas sector and decreasing that cap into the future until we reach net zero. We will be moving forward on a zero emission, net zero, on a net zero electricity grid across the country, and 100% zero emission vehicles by 2035 in our new vehicles.
We'll put a cap on oil and gas sector emissions and reduce them. Our plan will continue to ban single-use plastics. Our plan will build on the fact that we went in 5 years from 1% of our coasts and oceans protected to 14%, on our way to 30%.
Liar, liar, Prime Minister Pants on Fire. Justin Trudeau won't shut up about how he or his party are the saviors of humanity when it comes to the world ending. I don't know how many years they tell us we have left because of greenhouse gas emissions. And by greenhouse gas emissions, these people really mean carbon dioxide, which is, the stuff plants need to grow anyway. Justin Trudeau and his party, they keep attacking conservatives as anthropogenic or human-caused global warming deniers, which, full disclosure, I am, but I only speak for myself here. I'm not a spokesperson for the conservative movement. The Liberals also say the only people who can lower greenhouse gas emissions are the Liberals. Fancy that. And only through a carbon tax, a ban on safe, hygienic, single-use plastics for some reason, also feminist examinations of oil and gas projects, and, of course, big subsidies for rich people to buy impractical, novelty green cars paid for by people like me who drive diesel pickups. But what does reality really say about all of this? What does the Liberal track record tell us about how their policies drive down greenhouse gas emissions, if they do drive them down, if you care about that sort of thing? I don't, but the Liberals keep telling me they care about greenhouse gas emissions. Well, friends, let's use the Liberal government's own data to fact check Prime Minister Five-Alarm Cotton Dockers Blaze here, shall we? When Justin Trudeau first took power in 2015, greenhouse gas emissions annually were 722 kilotons. Now in 2019, greenhouse gas emissions were 730 kilotons, an increase of 1.1% under Justin Trudeau. It's not a lot, but still an increase, and definitely also not worth all the extra taxes if driving down greenhouse gas emissions is what all those carbon taxes were designed to do. They definitely weren't designed to do that, though, were they? Now let's look at the Harper years with no carbon tax and no ambitious green plans for the environment. In 2005, the last year the Liberals were in charge before Conservative Prime Minister Stephen Harper took charge, greenhouse gas emissions were 738 kilotons annually. Now in 2015, the last year Harper was in charge, we know this number already. It was 722 kilotons. This amounts to a decrease of nearly 2.2%. But conservatives with no carbon taxes overseeing a decline in greenhouse gas emissions, again, if you care about those sorts of things, might be the rule rather than the exception. Look at this. This is data from the United States during the Trump years in a study from the Rhodium Group in 2020. After a sharp uptick in 2018, we estimate that U.S. greenhouse gas emissions fell by 2.1% last year based on preliminary energy and economic data. Now, if you read down through this thing and in between the lines, in the case of the United States, Rhodium Group attributes the decline largely to the switch to natural gas electricity and cheap natural gas due to the fracking boom, something the Democrats down there plan to euthanize. Let this all be something for Conservative leader Erin O'Toole to consider as he campaigns, as he ignores the Conservative successes before him and adopts the Liberals' plan to tax your car and your power bill to somehow change the weather. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Friends, these are facts you won't get in the mainstream media. The mainstream media, they're all too busy on the Liberal bandwagon, inside the Liberal media bus, to fact check the Liberals' claims. If you'd like to support our independent journalism out there on the campaign trail, please donate today at realreporters.ca.